No, you're on.
And good evening, everybody. Welcome to Fitzgerald Stadium, where tonight we bring you the Missoula Mavericks taking on the premier Colorado Ball Club as we bring you day one of the 49th annual Firecracker Classic. My name is Mike Fell. We had an extended weather delay, and now the sun is shining. The inclement, ominous weather has moved to the east of Rapid City, and we are minutes away from baseball with first pitch set for 5:30 this evening. We're happy to have you with us. Earlier today, we had 4 games that we brought to you on Hard Hats TV. Game number 1 was won by the Post 39 South Kingston, Rhode Island team by a score of 5-4 over the Post 22 Expos. Then at 11 in the second game of the day, the Post 39 South Kingstown, Rhode Island team was unable to hold their 5-3 run going into the 5th inning, and it was a dramatic 5-run comeback in innings 5, 6, and 7 that lifted the Pinnacle Bank Papillion La Vista team from the Omaha area to a 10-5 victory in 7 innings in game number 2. Then in game number 3, the Pueblo Azteca team was able to win by a score of 7-1 over the Arbor Bank Scott Catholic High School team from West Omaha. And then it was this Arbor Bank Scott Catholic team losing their second game of the day to the DC Electric Thunderbirds from Bellevue, Nebraska, also a team from the southern part of the Omaha metropolitan area. So that's a look at the 4 games just completed. Mike Fell along with Oliver Fell, the voice of Hard Hats TV. And Oliver, we've had quite an afternoon and a morning, and now here we go. There's something about that first night in a tournament.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Feels like the momentum was kind of derailed though by that lightning delay. At least on my side of things, it sort of feels that way. But both of these teams playing for the first time. We have 2 more teams playing for the first time tonight, and it'll be interesting to see. This is where you establish yourself. This is where people make their expectations of what you're going to be. They look at you and they go, or they're going, okay, all right. You wanna make a good first impression here. You're gonna get every team's best if you play the best. Otherwise not.
Well, speaking of impressions, I have had a chance to cover the Missoula Mavericks a couple of times and watch them play the last few years. And you never know with Missoula. You may get a team that is the best of the best. You might get a team that's just kind of okay. You never really know what you're getting with Missoula. Sometimes Missoula starts strong, starts slowly, but then they really get traction. Earlier this year, Missoula was one of only a few teams to beat the Post 22 Hard Hats, and that was at Joe Pertz Field in Billings, Montana. And Missoula had a 10-run inning that was enough to lift them to an 11-9 victory over the Post 22 Hard Hats from Rapid City. And, nobody could really see that 10-run inning coming. And all of a sudden, in the 4th inning, pow, Missoula made a big charge. We'll see if they have that kind of firepower in them this evening. Now, for the Premier West team from the Denver, Colorado area, interesting ball club. They come in with a modest mark of 6-17. The Premier West, they have players from the rendezvous city of Riverton, Wyoming. They have the Aragon brothers from Farmington, New Mexico, and there are plenty of teams, plenty of players from players in and around the Denver area, and this figures to be quite a Western showdown. Not sure if these teams have met prior to this game tonight, and we're expecting a good one here. And it all leads up to the nightcap battle with the Post 22 Hard Hats hosting the Rocky Mountain Lobos from the Fort Collins, Colorado area. And Oliver, you'll have that call tonight.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. This is actually not the first time these two teams have played. We happen to just randomly meet up with one another in the Gretna area region of the Omaha tournament about a week and a half ago, really.
Oh, and who won that one?
We won like we won 4-1 and should have won by a lot more.
All right. Here we go. We're just moments away. Let's go ahead and get to the starting lineups. We're about 8 minutes away from first pitch. First for the visiting team in this neutral field battle. For the Missoula Mavericks, they will lead off with Carter Taylor, the center fielder. Batting second, designated hitter Patrick Davis. Hitting third for Missoula, an outstanding ball player, third baseman Sam Matosic. Batting fourth, hitting cleanup, left fielder Chris Compton. Batting fifth and playing first, Easton Reimers. Batting sixth, in the second base position, it's Coulter Nicolaarson. Batting seventh, shortstop Colin Boyce. Hitting eighth, it's catcher Rylan Davis. And batting ninth for the Mavericks, it's right fielder Bryce Ostrom. So for Missoula, Montana, it's Taylor Davis Matosic, Compton Reimers Nicolaarson, Boyce Davis, and Ostrom. And on the mound for the 35-19 Missoula Mavericks, it's Skylar Fairchild. For the Premier West team from the Centennial State of Colorado, with a few imported players from New Mexico and Wyoming, leading off its right fielder Dalton Berg. Batting second for Premier West, it's first baseman Tony DiRienzo. Batting third, hitting in a designated hitter position, it's Kendrick Aragon. Batting cleanup, it's center fielder Nate Hutchison. Hitting fifth, shortstop Kenji Bray. Batting sixth, second baseman Max Trujillo. Batting seventh, third baseman Mateo Rousey. Batting eighth, Nolan Engel. And rounding out the starting lineup for Premier West, it's left fielder Brock Lopez. So for Premier West, it's Berg, DiRienzo, Aragon, Kendrick Aragon, Hutchison, Bray, Trujillo, Rousey, Engel, and Lopez. And on the mound for Premier West, it is starting pitcher Austin Malecki. So now there are your starting lineups. We're getting closer to first pitch. Expect the game to begin in about 5 minutes from now. Gives us an opportunity to take an early peek at the big leagues for Major League Baseball for tonight. They're underway in the Steel City. No score between the St. Louis Cardinals and the Pittsburgh Pirates. Cardinals playing much better baseball the last few weeks, now with a mark of 44-40 and in National League wild card position. Bit of a surprise in Cleveland. In the bottom of the third, it's the last place Chicago White Sox won and the Cleveland Guardians nothing. The New York Mets, they've been playing much better in the last month or so. They are leading the Washington Nationals 1-0 early in the nation's capital. In a game, perhaps for a lot of interest for all of those fans from Rhode Island that are here, the Boston Red Sox are tied with the Miami Marlins 1-1 in South Florida. That game in the top of the third. Certainly a lot of happy fans around Boston and Miami these days as the Celtics won the Larry O'Brien Trophy and the Florida Panthers hoisted the Stanley Cup. In the top of the second inning in the Bronx, bit of a surprise, the Cincinnati Reds have a 2-0 lead over the men in pinstripes. North of the border, early lead for Toronto after one inning of play. It's Toronto Blue Jays 1, the Houston Astros 0. And down in the south, it's Atlanta and San Francisco scoreless. That game in the bottom of the first inning. That's a look at our Major League Scoreboard. We are just getting closer and closer to first pitch. Leading off for Missoula, it'll be Carter Taylor, and we are getting very close to this game beginning. Should be a good game, and we're happy to have you along with us. Mike Fell, Oliver Fell with you. Oliver will have the call of the New Mexico Lobos, or rather the Rocky Mountain Lobos and the Post 22 Hard Hats. That game will be coming your way probably about 30 minutes after the completion of this game. That's good. We're all ready to go, and we're happy you're with us as the skippers come out, shake hands with the umpiring crew, and get ready to exchange their lineups on a sunny, cool, and brisk evening, especially for July the 3rd. You wonder if it will stay like that tonight, though. With a couple more hours of sunshine, we may warm up quickly, right back towards 80 degrees. Too early to tell, but right now, after the storm has gone through and dumped quite a bit of rain upon the field and around the area, we have winds coming from the northeast, it appears, and we're going to be looking at a cool evening, at least to start, in this matchup between the Missoula Mavericks and Premier West from Colorado.
We'll see how things go. Everybody out here having some fun. Some sunglasses, backwards hat. We got several hard hats in attendance who are showing up to train and get ready, but they probably have a little more time off than they were anticipating right now. Even though we did catch up, we caught up, and then we didn't. It was like, oh, we're actually going to move it up 10 minutes, and then it's like 45-minute delay, and now we lost everything. Anyways, thank you, Bellevue West, for the mercy rule. I'm so glad we don't have to continue to play that game right now.
That's an excellent point. And, I have to give credit to the organizers of this 49th annual Firecracker Classic. They have the 8-run mercy rule, which is different than the 10-run mercy rule that exists in ordinary circumstances. I really think, how often, being straight up, do you see late inning comebacks with the score being 9 runs or 10 runs? You just don't see it.
No, but I've seen teams come back from 10 runs down in less time. This game last year, believe it or not, was 11-1 for Premier West at a point, and Missoula came back and won 14-11. That happened. So, this is a living example, this matchup right here.
I stand corrected. Boy, do I stand corrected.
That was the second inning, but still.
Well, okay, then I don't stand corrected, because the mercy rule only applies once you get into, the 5th inning.
Obviously, we wouldn't have had the mercy rule, or else they wouldn't have made the comeback.
Duh. You're right. Very good.
I'm just saying that they do come back sometimes, and this is an example.
Okay. Well,
and Premier did that a few times.
We like comebacks.
Premier did that a few times. They did it against Rocky Mountain as well, right?
Yeah.
Something like that, where Premier last year, a very offense-heavy team, they scored a ton of runs, but couldn't keep anything off the board. We'll see if they improve on that. Missoula was a well-rounded team, but was really up and down. So, yeah.
All right. Now we're getting closer and closer. Carter Taylor gets into the batter's box, and we are ready to go.
Also, in the hopes of not confusing everybody, I put white as the Mavericks one. They're both wearing navy tops and white pants. This is not a good situation, but the Mavericks are currently batting.
Okay, we are underway. Carter Taylor sees the first pitch sail outside for ball 1. On the mound again for Premier West, it's Austin Malecki. Malecki's pitch fouled straight up into the air, and it will find the seats for strike 1. Expecting Very interesting game here. Premier West with players from throughout the Denver area and scattered around the Rocky Mountain region, taking on the Missoula Mavericks from western Montana. Missoula makes a regular trip to the Firecracker. They love to travel. There's a pitch inside for a ball. The count is 2-1, but this may be the last time that we really see Legion baseball in Montana the way that it's been, as baseball has become heavily sanctioned, we understand, in the Big Sky State, and that might impact everything related to baseball in Montana. There's an inside pitch, and that's ball 4. Carter Taylor draws the walk and will trot down to first base. That brings up Patrick Davis. We know the post 22 Hard Hats, was informed by Kelvin Torvey, letting me know that they will not be heading to Billings next year to take on the Missoula Mavericks, the Billings Scarlets, and Billings Royals, as they have this year and in previous seasons. Patrick Davis waits for the pitch from Austin Malecki, and that pitch is over the inside part of the plate for strike 1. Patrick Davis batting with Carter Taylor showing a little bit of a lead off of first. The right-hander, Austin Malecki, with his back to first base, deals the pitch just off the plate for a ball. It's a crisp, cool evening so far. Shadows not too much of a factor, just a little bit of the light tower shadow into the infield. There's a throw down to second, and they got him. There's Carter Taylor caught stealing. Great throw made by Premier West catcher Nolan Engel, and a nice tag applied on the play by Kenji Bray, the shortstop. So that's a 2-6 put out if you're scoring with us here in the opening frame. Patrick Davis now with a 1-2 count, waits for the pitch from Malecki, and he swings and misses for strike 3. Malecki that time swung at a pitch below the zone and came up empty like a fisherman using bad equipment. Now here comes Sam Matosic. Sam Matosic, he is a catalyst for this Missoula team, has a way of making things happen at any moment. And we'll see Matosic swing and miss at strike 1. Certainly baseball horizons will be extending for this young man from Missoula. Here comes a pitch for Matosic. That's a hard swing and a miss for strike 2.
He sure looks like a baseball player, too. I will say that. He's built, he's got the stance, big, tall, wide frame, good swing. He's the prototypical guy you want.
Here comes a pitch to Matosic. He rips the ball down to third base. Throw to first is it there? It is. It's in time. What a play by Premier West's third baseman, Mateo Rousey. Mateo had to go to his right and handle a bit of a skipper, then threw all the way across the diamond. And let's give credit as well to first baseman Tony DiRienzo. He was able to dig up that baseball on the hop to retire the side. So there were no runs, no hits, no errors, and no men left on base. There was a walk issued to Carter Taylor to start the game. Well, we have no score. We now, in the top half of the first inning, we now head to the bottom half of inning number 1. Dalton Berg, Tony DiRienzo, and Kendrick Aragon will be due up, and if anyone gets on, it'll be cleanup hitter Nate Hutchison coming to the plate. This is Hard Hats TV.
That's something you can remember last year about Mateo. He was a great defensive third baseman. He had a few errors in the first game of the tournament, then really had some stunners later on. We'll see if he can get the bat around. He was, surprisingly, compared to most of the rest of the team, he was a better defender than a hitter. And he definitely saved him a few runs last year. We'll see if he can do it again.
Skylar Fairchild, he is the pitcher in this game. He made an appearance at Joe Pert's Field in Billings against the Post 22 Hard Hats. He came out of the bullpen, as I recall, in that game. And Skylar earns the start. And in a tournament such as the Firecracker Classic, relief pitchers many times are called upon to go the distance or at least go 4 or 5 innings deep. You have to try to preserve these arms as best you can. This is the first game of the tournament for both of these ball clubs.
Does his jersey have a hoodie on it?
It does. Daltonburg, or his hoodie's underneath the
Oh, it looks like
jersey.
it's the same
Here
fabric.
comes a pitch to Fairchild, and that's over for strike one. Stuart Fairchild, where's number 12? Same jersey number as Tom Brady. There's a pitch outside for a ball. So many famous players have worn number 12, but since
Andrew
Tom
Luck.
Brady wore it, kind of just became his number. There's a pitch outside for ball two.
Oh. Stand in front of the camera, sure, man. Yeah.
Here comes the pitch to Berg, and there's a swing and a miss, and the count is now even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Dalton Berg leading things off here in the bottom of the first inning for Premier West from the state of Colorado. Here comes the pitch to Berg, and that pitch is outside to make the count go full. Here comes our first 3-2 pitch of the evening from Fairchild to Berg. And that ball is fouled off of the light tower down the left field line. These old light towers bring a lot of character to Fitzgerald Stadium. So it's just kind of, I love these light towers. There's something amazing and timeless about them. There's a pitch. Ball struck deep to center. There's a long race for the baseball, and the catch is made.
Man.
That was a nice catch in the deepest part of center field. Running it down was Carter Taylor for the Missoula Mavericks, and give credit to Dalton Berg. He gave that ball quite a ride.
That is out in the majority of stadiums at this level. This is just a very pitcher-friendly park.
Really, if you're going to hit the ball out, there's really 2 ways to do it. I'll talk about this in a moment. There's a pitch off the plate to Tony DiRienzo for ball 1. One way is to get the ball in the kind of down the left center field, kind of in the left field with some lift. There's a ball hit foul. Count is now 1-1. If you can hit the ball towards the Shield sign or Black Hills Community Bank, Farmers Union Insurance sign, it seems like that is where the most home runs will leave the ballpark. Here comes the next pitch from Fairchild, and that catches the edge for strike 2. Count now 1 ball and 2 strikes. The other way to hit the home runs here is just to hit it narrowly down the line in right field into the trees towards Storybook Island. There's a foul ball to keep the count at 1-2.
I have a question. You can totally, after that ball hits the ground, you can totally just grab it out the air before it bounces again and keep it from going foul, right?
You cannot. If it's just considered a chopper where there's some contact made, like up at the foot or something like that, or they think the ball went
well, no, but that one
down.
Went straight down.
Well, if it goes straight down but not in front of the plate,
well, no, but I'm saying it bounced in the little thing, but it had spin, and it was gonna on the second bounce it kicked foul. Had you grabbed it before the second bounce, that's legal, right?
I think that's a gray area. I think that's really up to the umpire's interpretation.
Because I think that's what you should have done.
Yeah.
Because then you keep it from going foul,
right,
and you can just tag him.
I don't have an easy answer for you, Oliver. There's a pitch outside. Count now goes to 3 balls and 2 strikes. Here with 1 out, nobody on in the scoreless tie. We're just underway after a lengthy weather delay. This is game 5 of 6 here in
Ooh,
day one of the Firecracker.
it's windy.
There's a pop-up, and finally the ball comes down, and the ball is caught. There was definitely some mystery for Ryland Davis, but he was able to find the ball as it kind of maybe reached about 50 feet above the ground and made the adjustment, reached out his catcher's mitt, and made the catch for out number 2. Now here comes Kendrick and Aragon from New Mexico. Here's a foul back to the screen, and no, Kendrick Aragon is not playing for the Lobos, even though his home state team is the New Mexico Lobos. Count is 0-1 now to Aragon. Kendrick has his brother Cade on the team as well with him. Not sure if they're twin brothers or not. There's a swing and a miss for strike 2, and the count is 0-2. I have not been to Farmington, New Mexico. I have been driven through Las Vegas, New Mexico, the other Las Vegas, as many people refer to it. And I stopped at the Sonic in Las Vegas, New Mexico once. Count now 1 ball and 2 strikes to Kendrick Aragon. Here comes the 1-2 pitch from Fairchild, and that ball is way outside the batter's box and to the screen for ball 2. Nobody on, 2 out. Fairchild 1 strike away from getting out of the inning, and he finds the plate for a caught-looking strike 3. Man, did he really take something off of that strikeout pitch right there, and that's going to be a 1-2-3 inning as Premier West, 6-17 on the season, goes down without sending a man to first base. We have played 1 inning of action here at Fitzgerald Stadium in Rapid City, South Dakota. It's the Missoula Mavericks and the Premier West team scoreless after 1.
All right, we'll see how this goes. Both teams showing versions of themselves. I don't know. This doesn't feel like either team has really cemented what they want to do. I think that both pitchers keeping them off balance. I think that eventually you'll see their styles emerge, but right now they're playing a pretty similar game.
We now move to the top of the 2nd inning. Back for another inning of action is Austin Malecki. Malecki, I thought, was pretty impressive in the top half of inning number 1. He's tall, lanky, but he throws with pretty good velocity. He's got some heat. And here we go. Chris Compton to lead things off here in the top half of inning number 2. For the 35-19 Missoula Mavericks. Missoula, a mainstay at this tournament. This may be the last season they're here if they are dramatically affected by all of the high school sanctioning adjustments being anticipated in Big Sky Country for next year. Count now 1 ball, 1 strike to Compton. We sure hope we get Missoula to come back. We love when they bring their great ball club here and love their fans. Got their video broadcast crew next to us in the booth next to us here. Great fan support in the Missoula area for sure. Here comes the 1-2 pitch to Chris Compton, and that ball is chipped foul, and the count remains at 1 ball and 2 strikes. Austin Malecki, right-handed pitcher, being told to wait a moment as the loose ball is retrieved by one of the players for Premier West. Here comes the pitch from Malecki. That pitch is high for ball 2. Looking at the infield for Premier West at third base, it's Mateo Rousey. Kenji Bay is at short. Max Trujillo is at second. And Tony DiRienzo is at first base. And there is strike 3, and Chris Compton becomes the second Missoula Maverick to go down on K's here in the early going. Now here comes Austin Reimers. Reimers has some good power. He's playing first base. I've seen him play designated hitter earlier this year as well. I think he kind of platoons at first and is a DH quite a bit of the time. Here's a inside pitch, count now 1-0 from Austin Malecki to Easton Reimers. Got a lot of rain on the field. Never sure how that's going to affect things too much. Good news is it's a turf field and it's made for days like this. The 2-0 pitch comes to the plate, and that pitch is just off the plate for ball 3. So Malecki down in the count for the first time this evening, 3-0. Certainly you would think Reimers will be selective, and he is. That fourth pitch in the at-bat is high and inside, bringing the second walk in as many innings from Austin Malecki. And now Missoula, with 1 out, has a man aboard at first base. And now Coulter Nicolaarson comes up to bat. I think, Oliver, your family has some Nicolaarson friends, right?
Yeah, I know. That's far too specific a name. This has to be somebody related to them. But they were Wyoming people, to my understanding.
That's my understanding from the Gillette area.
Mm-hmm. But, I mean, it's not that far.
No, it could certainly be related. And Coulter Nicolaarson is hit by a pitch. And now 2 men are aboard with 1 out. Nicolaarson is hit on the shoulder. Easton Reimers advances up to second base. And now Colin Boyce will be the hitter, the right-handed shortstop for Missoula, with a chance to bat with a man in scoring position. We're just in the top of the second. We're essentially just underway. Scoreless so far here in Rapid City in Game 5 of our 6-game opening day showcase, as we bring you 29 games in 5 days from the 49th annual Firecracker Classic. Colin Boyce now waits for the 1-0 pitch from Malecki. Malecki looks back at second, now fires home, and the ball is popped up in the infield. Calling for it is the first baseman, who makes the catch. That's Tony DiRienzo, recording the second out of the inning. So the runners do not advance. Of course, no one scores there on that fly out to the first baseman. And now here comes Ryland Davis. Ryland Davis, the number 8 hitter in the Missoula lineup, batting with 2 men on and 2 out here in the second. Malecki takes his time, throws home, and connects for strike 1. Ryland Davis, the catcher, certainly with a good eye of the strike zone, based on the fact he's seen his pitcher Stuart Fairchild work the zone pretty well so far.
It's a different angle.
It is a different angle, but if you do talk to catchers, they do have a sense as to which call, maybe borderline calls, you're going to get depending on the home plate umpire. Here comes the pitch, and there's a swing and a miss, strike 2. That time, Ryland Davis really had the string pulled by the pitching puppeteer, Austin Malecki. On deck for Missoula is Bryce Ostrom. We give a shout out to my good friend Steve Ammerman, South Dakota Sportscaster of the Year. If you're watching, Steve, hope your 4th of July weekend's off to a good start. And there's strike 3. 2 out of 3 outs are recorded via the strikeout. And Premier West comes into the dugout happy to strand 2 Missoula Mavericks at first and second and keep this score at 0-0. In the top half of the second inning, for Missoula, there were no runs, there were no hits, there were no errors, and there were 2 men left on base. We go to the bottom of the second inning. The Premier West Colorado team will send Nate Hutchison, Kenji Bray, and Max Trujillo to the plate. And if anyone gets on, Mateo Rousey will be due up to bat. Taking a quick scoring look at the major leagues. The St. Louis Cardinals have broken out on top over the Pittsburgh Pirates 1-0 in Pittsburgh. The Chicago White Sox, they're having a power surge, leading Cleveland 5-1. The Mets lead the Nationals 3-0 in the NL East. And for all of you Rhode Island fans, the Red Sox lead the Marlins 2-1 at Flamingo Field in Miami. And here we go.
Is that really what they call it?
I thought so.
I thought they had a. Do they not have a sponsor right now?
Well, I thought it was Flamingo Field for the Marlins. Maybe they have a flamingo like neon sign. Maybe
They
I'm
used to
thinking
have a
of that.
sculpture, and then
Yeah.
Derek Jeter tore it down because he's a terrible GM.
Oh, okay. Well, let's get back to this. Nate Hutchison waits for the first pitch from Stuart Fairchild to begin the second. That ball is hit right to the shortstop. Throw to first is in time for out number 1. Nate Hutchison is retired. Good play there by shortstop Colin Boyce. And I noticed Nate Hutchison, for the cleanup hitter, had some wheels. He was about a step and a half faster than the average man down to first base, I think. Kenji Bray now comes up to bat for Premier West. And Bray sees a pitch cross the zone over near the knees for strike 1. Kenji Bray stood out last year as one of the better defensive shortstops, I thought, here at the Firecracker tournament.
Absolutely. He's the only one here with a concrete commitment on either side of the game here. He's got a letter of intent signed for the Colorado School of Mines.
He's going to be an ore digger. Here's a ball hit to second base. Easy out. Throw to first in time. And Kenji Bray, the future Colorado Mines ore digger, becomes the second out of the inning. And now Max Trujillo comes to hit for Premier West. It's been a cleanly played game so far. Definitely a departure from some of the games played earlier today. We heard from one of the Omaha Scud fans about his thoughts on the defense that he saw in the previous game.
He didn't talk about his son's teammates very highly.
Max Trujillo sees a pitch, catch the edge. Well, everybody has tough days. Counts now 0-2 to Max Trujillo. And that pitch is swung on. The ball gets away from the catcher. Throw to first. Easily done in time. And that is the second strikeout of the game for Stuart Fairchild, as that's a 2-3 putout on the strikeout. And that's a second consecutive 1-2-3 inning for Premier West. Yet to reach base against Missoula Mavericks ace Stuart Fairchild.
No, it's...
Skylar Fairchild, thank you.
I know, it's spelled weird.
No, I got Stuart
It is also,
in my head.
it is also spelled weird.
But yes, Skylar Fairchild. Now, I'm from Nebraska.
Ooh.
And I will tell you, we have a Skylar, Nebraska.
Skylar
Spelled
Fairchild,
the same way.
a member of he goes to Hellgate High School, which is a awesome name for a high school.
It is. That Hellgate almost sounds like that's where you would go through. Almost sounds like there was a big mine nearby or something.
Yeah, like some sort of sulfur fire
You
or
know,
something.
just, yeah.
Where like it keeps going forever.
There we go. We talk about sulfur fire. I was just reading the book of Genesis.
Oh no, what did I do?
It was burning sulfur that destroyed Sodom and
Cut it
Gomorrah.
off. Get it off.
There you go, folks. Burning sulfur.
There's your scripture lesson, I guess.
All right, here we go. It's always good to read the Bible, and always good to learn how things happen. We now go.
I mean, as
Top
they
of
are
the
told.
third
Genesis has
inning.
always been shaky for me.
There's nothing shaky about the Bible.
Yeah, there is.
Not my book.
It changes.
Because that's God's book is my book. Here we go. Back to baseball.
Yeah, but
Bryce
you read the
Ostrom
King
to
James.
lead things off. Carter Taylor and Patrick Davis
All right.
also due up in the top of the third inning for the Missoula Mavericks. Mike Fell, Oliver Fell with you here on Hard Hats TV. First pitch from Austin Malecki is inside for ball one to Ostrom. Here comes the next pitch, and that ball is hit hard and off of the fence down the left field bullpen fencing boundary for strike one. Missoula and Premier West, almost like two fighters in a boxing match, just kind of getting a sense of one another, it appears. Neither team yet to really land a punch. Here comes a pitch, and that ball is outside for a ball. My grandfather was a fighter back in the day, and I have a good story to share about that. Counts 2-1. That pitch is over for strike two, and the count's even up at 2. I'll tell the story after this at bat. Bryce Ostrom awaits the 2-2 pitch, and the ball is chopped back to the screen, and the count remains stationary at 2 balls and 2 strikes with nobody out here in the top of the third inning.
So last year's meeting of these two teams, the Mavericks won 12-9. So this is a little different.
Yeah. Well, so far we still have time to get there. There's a swing and a miss. Ball is on the ground. Throw to first in time, and there is the 5th strikeout, 4th strikeout of the game for Skylar Fairchild, or check that, Austin Malecki, as Bryce Ostrom is retired. And now here comes Carter Taylor. Carter drew a leadoff walk back in the first, then was caught trying to steal second base. Here comes the pitch to Taylor. That's over for a strike. So the story goes like this with my grandfather. Back in the Great Depression, he figured out a way to make some extra money for the family. Here's a pitch, ball lifted into center field, called for, and caught by center fielder Nate Hutchison for the second out of the inning. And my grandfather, he came up with an idea. Back in the 30s, carnivals, traveling carnivals, had all kinds of extra attractions. And one of them was they had prize fighting, and some of the best fighters around the Midwest were carnival fighters. And my grandfather challenged the carnival fighter, and if he won against the carnival fighter, of course the carnival company wanted to make sure he didn't get back in the ring with my grandpa. So what happened is my grandpa would follow the carnival around, and when he showed up, the deal worked in a straightforward manner. Either my grandfather would be paid off not to fight the carnival fighter, again, thus ruining a big part of the carnival's evening entertainment, or he would get back into the ring and beat the carnival fighter a second time to take care of some business. And there's a little story for you there. Count is now 2-2 to Patrick Davis, the hitter. Nobody on, 2 out in the top of the third inning. Austin Malecki with a 2-2 offering has the pitch go low, and it took a skip and hit the catcher in the gut. I think it hurt him a little bit. Count now 3-2. Sometimes that padding just doesn't quite do it all when the ball comes from certain angles. Here comes the payoff 3-2 pitch. That ball chopped off the leg of the batter Patrick Davis, and we'll do it all over again. The dangerous Sam Matosic is taking his swings in the on-deck circle Certainly Malecki and Premier West would like to strand Matosic from coming up to bat with someone on base. Here comes the pitch, and that's outside, and Patrick Davis draws a walk on a 3-2 pitch. And now here comes the ever so dangerous Sam Matosic for Missoula. 1 on, 2 out, top of the third, scoreless tie. Premier West so far has only sent the minimum to bat.
Ooh.
And Matosic hits it deep and hard and over the head of the center fielder. That might score a run. Here comes a throw. Here comes, no, there'll be no throw. And Sam Matosic, as he often does, comes through with an RBI base hit to begin the scoring, driving home Patrick Davis all the way from first base. And if you're going to face Sam Matosic in your Premier West, you might want to get that center fielder a little bit further back than where he was positioned on that last sequence. Mercy. Chris Compton now due up.
Yeah, just a big moment there. You could hear off the bat that was going a long ways. That one driven at least 370.
Here comes Compton's at bat. He hits the ball right to the shortstop, Kenji Bay, who throws to first in time to retire the side. But Sam Matosic, one of the greatest players in Montana in recent years, comes through with an RBI double to give the Missoula Mavericks the early 1-0 lead. In the top of the third inning, there was 1 run on 1 hit. There were no errors, and there was 1 man left on second base. Through 2.5 innings of play here at Fitzgerald Stadium in Rapid City, it's Missoula 1 and Premier West nothing. This is Hard Hats TV coverage of the 49th annual Firecracker Classic.
We'll see where this goes. I need to, a quick thanks to Sarah in the chat. We got an update. So there are 4 college commits of the 5 seniors on this Missoula team. I just couldn't find it because it wasn't put onto Prep Baseball Report's commitment list. But we have Chris Compton's going to the University of Mary. That's North Dakota.
Your aunt went there.
Oh,
Maeve went there.
really? I just don't know that.
Catholic school in Bismarck.
Really? Okay. And then Sam Matosic and Brennan Labe going to Centralia, and Jace Carey to Jamestown in North Dakota.
We thank our fans for sending us that. Hope all of you fans are enjoying these broadcasts. We sure enjoy bringing you these games. Mateo Rousey to lead things off. So far, Skylar Fairchild, perfect through 2 innings, facing the minimum. Mateo Rousey down on the count 0-2 to Skylar Fairchild. Here comes the pitch from Skylar. There's a foul tip, and the at-bat is extended. Isn't it starting to feel like 4th of July a little bit more? Happy Independence Day to all of you out there. I still remember being in Minnesota and attending the Bicentennial Parade when I was
Just date yourself.
5 years old.
Yeah.
4 years old, actually.
Just date yourself, man.
Oh, there you go. There's a bounce to the third, throw to first in time. 7 up, 7 down. Have some 7 up if you're back in Missoula watching this game, as Skylar Fairchild is on a roll to start the Firecracker Classic with a proverbial bang. Now here comes Nolan Engel. Nolan Engel, the backstop for Premier West, waits for the pitch from Fairchild, and he barely gets a little bit of aluminum on that cut, and that's strike 1, as that was handled smoothly by the pitcher. Here comes the next pitch, and that's over for strike two.
What does he have on
And
his...
right now, Skylar Fairchild is in a place that all pitchers want to exist within. There's a grounder, and it's followed by the shortstop. Throw to first.
Oh!
In time. What a stretch by the first baseman who didn't realize there was only one out in the inning. That was a great play by Easton
By both of
Reimers.
them.
Right, and a great play by the shortstop, Colin Boyce. I'm going to hang a star on that
Absolutely.
play, as Boyce had the ball spin off of the heel of his glove, kind of went off his leg right up to his hand. Then the throw, barehanded the ball, throw to first, went to a completely outstretched Reimers. There's a dribbler over to Fairchild, caught by Reimers, and that'll do it. Another 1-2-3 inning with a marvelous bang-bang play between shortstop Colin Boyce and first baseman Easton Reimers, who used every possible square inch of his frame to keep his foot on the bag and come up with that baseball on a throw that was a little wide, justifiably so, on the crazy play in the shortstop hole that was made moments earlier by Colin Boyce. So that will be a 1-2-3 inning, no hits, no errors, and no men left on base. And how about Skylar Fairchild, perfect through 3 innings of action here at Fitzgerald Stadium after a lengthy weather delay pushed the start time of this ball game back to 5:30 local Mountain Time. No runs, no hits, no errors, no men left on base, and hang a star on that play by Colin Boyce and Easton Reimers. If something magical happens before this game is over involving Skylar Fairchild, we will look back at that marvelous infield defensive exhibition.
Yeah, that was just an unbelievable play. And those are the kinds you need if you're going to make some crazy pitching performance like a perfect game or a no-hitter. You need those outstanding plays to effectively give you a free life, like an extra life on your efforts. And that's the one that you needed. You got it right there. Just what a play from the two of them.
It's an outstanding play. We're happy you're with us. Stay tuned after this ball game. Oliver Fell will have the broadcast of the Rocky Mountain Lobos from Fort Collins, Colorado, taking on the 41-10 post-22 Hard Hats, the defending champions of this Firecracker tournament. Easton Reimers to lead things off. If you're just joining us, Sam Matosic had a double to center field over the center fielder to bring home Patrick Davis to plate the only run of the game in this 1-0 game. Reimers hits the ball high, and it's going to be caught in left field for the leadoff out of this inning. Making the catch in left field, coming over a little bit towards center, was Brock Lopez. Now here comes Coulter Nicolaarson. Coulter, batting right-handed, faces right-hander Austin Malecki for Premier West. There is a pitch inside for ball 1. Austin Malecki wears number 19. That's the same number as my all-time favorite baseball player, Tony Gwynn Sr. There's a ball hit in right field. That's a base hit for Nicolaarson. He'll put on the brakes to get back to first. Now the ball goes past the first baseman on the throw back to the infield, and a good job there backing things up. It's Nolan Engel. So here we go. Nicolaarson now at first base with 1 out. And here comes Colin Boyce, who provided some defensive heroics on one of those bouncers that can eat up some of the middle infielders from time to time. That kept the perfect game intact for Skylar Fairchild for Missoula. There's a pitch over for strike one. Count 1-1. Malecki versus Boyce. Nicolarsson with just a slight lead off of the first base bag here in this 1-0 game in the bottom of the third. Here comes the pitch, and that's a good check swing there by Colin Boyce. He didn't take the bait. Count now goes to 2-1. Ryland Davis on deck. If anybody else gets on, Bryce Ostrom is in the hole. There's a chopper towards the Mavericks dugout. Count now goes to 2-2. The Missoula Mavericks, as Oliver pointed out, defeated Premier West in this tournament a year ago by a count of 12-9. Definitely a low-scoring game featuring only a pair of hits for Missoula offensively so far this evening. There's a pitch, and that catches the inside corner, and that is the 5th strikeout of the ball game for Austin Malecki. Now there are 2 down with a man at first in the person of Coulter Nicolarsson. And here comes Ryland Davis, who struck out his first time at bat in the 2nd inning. Davis waits for the pitch from Austin Malecki, and that pitch is over for a strike. This has really been a pitcher's duel. Both pitchers so far racking up multiple strikeouts. There's another pitch for strike 2. Austin Malecki, he throws harder. He's a bigger pitcher than Skylar Fairchild, the Missoula ace, but give credit to Skylar. He is pitching a perfect game through 3 innings in this 7-inning game.
Oh,
and
that's a late call.
Inside pitch, and he gets the call. And that's 6 strikeouts now for Austin Malecki, who is all smiles as he strolls back to the dugout. No runs were scored for Missoula in the top half of the 4th inning. There was a 1-hit single. There were no errors, and there was 1 man left on base. We are halfway through this 7-inning ball game, and we have a thriller so far. It's a 1-0 pitcher's duel, and Skylar Fairchild goes back to the mound to face Premier West for the 2nd time through the order. He was perfect his first time through the Premier West lineup to start the first 3 innings of tonight's contest.
All right. I know that some of you want to know the schedule for tomorrow's games. I know some of you, Missoula people, all of that. I've got everything. We'll put up all of these streams before the end of the night. But just so that you know, Missoula, you guys, sorry about this. Doubleheader at 7:30 and approximately 9:30. Yeah, I know, early morning. But you get a doubleheader against this, against the Post-22 Expos Junior Legion team and a 1-0 Bellevue West DC Electric Thunderbirds team that just beat the Scott team from Omaha. And then Rocky Mountain plays Scott at 11:30. Papillion plays Pueblo at 2, and then Pueblo plays their doubleheader day. They play Rhode Island at 4:30. Premier, you don't play till 7 o'clock against the Hard Hats on the July 4th nightcap.
All right, and what a great crowd we'll have for all of these post-22 games. The Hard Hats really taking the city by storm, as they often do. Just playing great baseball, winning 29 of their last 31 games. It's a veteran Hard Hats team with 8 seniors, 2 super seniors, and a Hall of Fame manager in Kelvin Torvey. Count is 1-1 now to Daltonburg to start things off here in the bottom of the 4th inning.
Oh, it went on top of the restrooms.
And the ball,
that one's not coming down.
All the way on the roof of the bathroom
but it's
structure.
It's like, it has like gutters. It's not going to come down. It's going to settle up there.
Well, it might be a
think that's a relic.
Might be one of many things that Darren Good will do. He might just get a ladder out. We see Darren do just about anything and everything at the ballpark, and we'll see if Darren doesn't get a ladder out before too long and get that ball. Counts now 1-2 to Dalton Berg. Here comes the pitch from Skylar Fairchild, and that ball hit right at the shortstop. Colin, he throws to first. It's in time, and Colin Boyce hooks up again with Easton Reimers, and that's now 10 hitters retired in a row to start the game for Skylar Fairchild on that 6-3 putout. And here comes Tony DiRienzo. Will Tony be the man to play King Arthur and pull the sword from the stone? Ball bounces off.
Oh, is that it?
Skylar's glove, and that will be an infield single. What a tough way to lose a perfect game and a no-hit bid, as that ball went off of Skylar Fairchild's glove.
And that's a
dribbled towards the edge of the grass, and that's an infield single for Tony DiRienzo in this 1-0 ball game. So now a man is on with one out for Kendrick Aragon, the designated hitter. Throw back to first, and you can just feel it. You could just look at Skylar Fairchild, and he knew what was going on up to that moment of the game. Now it's time for Fairchild to collect himself and get right back in that groove that has served him so well so far, with the Missoula Mavericks on top 1-0 in this pitcher's duel here in Rapid City. Kendrick Aragon waits for the pitch. There's a swing and a miss, strike two. Aragon's younger brother, Cade, also on the team for Premier West. Two young men from Farmington, New Mexico. Of course, New Mexico, the land of enchantment.
Is it?
It is. I think that it is the land of enchantment.
I have never heard that.
Yeah, you can look it up. Also, I want to give New Mexico credit. They have a great state flag and great license plate.
Yeah, they do.
It is the land of enchantment.
Okay then. I mean, sure.
Here comes
you can have that, New Mexico. Go for it.
Mexico, also the home of the Lobos and the Aggies down in Las Cruces. My great uncle was a mathematics professor at New Mexico State. And
wow.
He's much smarter than I am, that's for sure. He went to MIT. Closest thing I got to MIT was having a mitt. Here comes a pitch on 1-2. There's a swing and a miss, and that's going to be strike three as Kendrick Aragon becomes the third strikeout victim of the ball game. So there are 2 outs here in the bottom of the 4th inning. At first base is Tony DiRienzo. He reached base on an infield hit that went off the glove of starting pitcher Skylar Fairchild, who was pitching a perfect game through 3 1/3 innings up to the point of that ball going off of his glove. I want to give a shout out to the starting pitcher we saw earlier today. I believe it was from the Rhode Island Ball Club. I think it was Will Creed, just made a tremendous catch on the mound with the bases loaded to keep that game close at the time for the team from Rhode Island. Count is now 1-1 to Nate Hutchison, and the next pitch is outside for ball 2. Got a good pitcher's duel. Come on down. Enjoy the game. A beautiful night for baseball. It's a grounder to second. Throw to first in time. And Fairchild works around the infield single off of his glove. Also mentally bounces back from seeing his perfect game bid go by the boards as the ball bounced off of his glove on a hit back to the pitcher. That was hard to handle. Certainly a hit, not an error. And that will end the bottom of the 4th inning for Premier West. for Premier West in the home half of the fourth. There were no runs. There was that one infield hit that I just alluded to. There were no errors, and there was one man left on base. We go to the fifth inning. It's a 1-0 pitcher's duel as Austin Malecki, with 6 strikeouts to his credit, comes onto the mound to begin the top half of the fifth inning, facing Bryce Ostrom, Carter Taylor, and Patrick Davis, with the ever so dangerous Sam Matosic due up if anyone can reach base.
Yeah, just creating some graphics here. The current stuff is nobody's 2-0. The teams that had the double headers either split or lost them both. Rhode Island split, and Scott lost them both. There are a few undefeated teams. I mean, obviously Rocky Mountain and Post 22 is going to produce one. Bellevue won their only game today. Pueblo won their only game today. And Papillion won their only game today. So it's going to be very stacked after day one to see, but it'll start to differentiate in a couple days.
Thank you, Oliver Fell, and Bryce Ostrom now will lead things off facing Austin Malecki. Ostrom struck out back in the third inning, looking for a different outcome this time up to the plate. Comes the pitch from Malecki, and that is just off the plate. The count is squared at 1-1 strike. Mike Fell with you. Happy that you're able to start your 4th of July weekend with us here on Hard Hats TV. There's nothing more American than the Firecracker here in the City of Presidents, where you will find U.S. presidential statues throughout the downtown.
They're life-size.
On every corner, and they are life-size. And if you go,
James is really small.
If
James
you go
Madison.
to the corner of St. Joseph Avenue and 6th Street, you'll get to see my favorite president, Ronald Reagan. Count is now 2-2 to Bryce Ostrom. Austin Malecki gets the sign, pitches, and there's a swing and a miss, strike 3, and that's 7 strikeouts, 3 consecutive Ks for the red-hot Austin Malecki, who is getting it done tonight for Premier West, with most of their roster coming from the Centennial State of Colorado. There's a pitch, and that's an off-speed swing and a miss. And right now, you can sense the Missoula Mavericks, with the exception of exceptional Sam Matosic, really guessing at a lot of the pitches coming from Austin Malecki on the mound from Premier West. Count is now 1-1. Here comes the pitch. That ball is fouled out of play for strike 2. Austin Malecki for Premier West and Skylar Fairchild for the Missoula Mavericks are locked in a duel in all caps right now. Here comes the pitch. There's a chopper handled by Kenji Bray. Throw to first in time, and what a play by Bray. He really put something on that throw, and you can see why he's ticketed for Golden to play college baseball next year. Mercy.
Yeah. Specifically, Colorado School of Mines always really good at pretty much all of the big sports because, I mean, they played in the national championship this year. I believe, did they win it?
No.
No, they lost it. Oh, yeah, they lost it to
Searcy, Arkansas.
True. But they were doing really well. They were #1 ranking in the nation for a very long time, a lot of RMAC titles and a lot of things. The reason is a lot of people who could go D1 go there because they want the education, and thus they get high D1 guys that prioritize education.
Outstanding point, and I agree with that analysis completely. And Oliver, one of your best friends, Anurag, goes there. Shout out to Anurag.
Shout out Anurag.
Count is now 2-1 to Patrick Davis, the hitter, with nobody on and 2 out in this epic pitcher's duel. And we're about to see the shadows from the pavilion make it even harder on the hitters, as if it's hard enough for the hitters to face their starting aces in which they're opposed. They may soon have to contend with the ball going from light into darkness before he hits home plate. There's a swing and a miss, strike three. And that's another 1-2-3 inning for Austin Malecki, who is getting a lot of high fives and smiles, and he's all smiles, as that's now 8 Mavericks taken down by way of the strikeout through the 5 innings for Missoula. We're now in the middle of the 5th inning. There were no runs, no hits, no errors, no men left on base. We go to the bottom of the 5th inning, and Skylar Fairchild, who has the lead thanks to Sam Matosic's RBI double back in the 3rd inning, trying to continue to cruise. Only Tony DiRienzo with a infield single off of the starting pitcher's glove has been able to even reach first. Easton Reimers comes out from first base, kind of picks up his buddy Skylar Fairchild, and we are ready to roll here at Dave Plouffe Field at Fitzgerald Stadium here in Rapid City. What a beautiful ballpark. What a great night for baseball. Doesn't get any better than this. There's a swing and a miss back to the screen by Kenji Bray. If there is a dangerous player, extremely dangerous leadoff man for Premier West, I think you're looking at him right here in the person of Kenji Bray, as Bray is quickly put down in the count, 0-2. Here comes the pitch to Bray, and that pitch is over for strike three. And that is Skylar Fairchild's 3rd punch out of the ball game. Fairchild really involving his defense so far. That time he takes matters into his own hands. There's a pitch over for strike one now to Max Trujillo. Trujillo struck out, was thrown out back in the 2nd inning. We're in the bottom of the 3rd. It's a 1-0 lead for Missoula. Real story in this game is pitching for both Austin Malecki, who has 8 strikeouts so far and has only yielded 1 run, and for Missoula, Skylar Fairchild, who's on the mound now, who has only given up 1 infield hit. That was off his glove on a smash by Tony DiRienzo. Max Trujillo now down in the count, 0-2. Slaps the ball out of play, and that's one of the rare times that Fairchild has witnessed an opposing hitter getting the barrel squarely on the bat. Here comes the 0-2 pitch from Skylar to Max. And that's a swing and a miss, strike three. And that time Skylar Fairchild really pulled the string to get the consecutive K registered here in the bottom of the 5th. And now Mateo Rousey comes up to bat. Mateo had a marvelous defensive web gem down the line early in this game, and Rousey hits up a flare, and it's going to be caught in center field for the 3rd out of the inning. There's a 1-2-3 inning for the 4th time in 5 innings tonight for Skylar Fairchild. No runs, no hits, no errors, and no men left on base. I feel like a broken record when Skylar Fairchild comes off the mound this evening, with Missoula holding a 1-0 lead in one of the best pitchers duels in recent Firecracker Classic history.
Yeah, it's something special when you see 2 pitchers on their absolute best. That is the difference between the 12-9 game last year and this one. That 12-9 game happening day 3 of the tournament. You were already looking at the number 3 or 4 starters. You didn't see the top end guys. These are the aces for both of these staffs. and they are definitely playing like it. That first day, always a little different from what you're going to see the rest of the tournament, but a very important thing to set the tone.
Very well said, Oliver. I couldn't agree more. Austin Malecki back to work, trailing 1-0. One of the hard things about sports, sometimes a team or a pitcher, they just don't deserve to lose. Neither one of these teams or pitchers through 5 innings deserves to lose, but of course, baseball, not a game made for ties. And we are going to have ourselves two very dramatic, perhaps maybe even more than two dramatic innings, as fans starting to file in for the Hard Hats Lobos game coming up next here on Hard Hats TV. Sam Matosic to lead things off. Matosic 1 for 2 tonight with that differentiating extra base hit, that RBI double over the head of Premier West center fielder Nate Hutchison back in the 3rd inning. We're in the top of the 6th, the visiting half of the 6th inning, and Matosic even in the count 1-1. Here comes the pitch from Malecki. That's outside for ball 2. I want to give credit to the home plate umpire. He has just been nails tonight. He's been consistent, and he has let these pitchers pitch. He's been a great home plate umpire. Here comes the 2-1 pitch. That ball is hit down the line, and the count is 2-2. And when you have a pitcher's duel, it's even enhanced more when you have great umpiring, and we have that this evening here at the Firecracker Classic. Good umpiring tonight. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. And that pitch is outside, and the count is now filled to the brim. Austin Malecki now with a payoff pitch with nobody on, nobody out here in the top of the 6th frame. Here's a pitch. That's over for strike 3. Matosic can't believe it. And he looks back at the umpire for a moment, and that will be a huge out for Premier West's Austin Malecki as the top hitter for the Missoula Mavericks, the only man to drive in a run and get an extra base hit so far in this ball game, is retired as the 9th strikeout victim of the game. And now Chris Compton on cue gets a base hit into left field in the cleanup spot for Missoula. So a man is aboard with 1 out. The Mavericks trying to find a way to build on their 1-0 lead here in the top of the 6th inning. Wow, I just love games like this. I mean, I love shootout games, high-scoring games, but sign me up for a game like this anytime. Austin Reimers now the hitter. Waits for the pitch, and that is off the plate for ball 1. The next strikeout for Austin Malecki will be his 10th K, and will put him in a special place with double-digit Ks in a 7-inning ballgame. Malecki looks back at first, now dials in on the hitter, and draws a foul ball by Austin Reimers.
It nearly hit the grill.
And we haven't heard the broken glass sound effect from public address announcer Kevin Phillips just yet.
He's just now settling in. I mean,
yeah,
give the man a
true.
minute.
Yeah, we need to give our buddy Kevin Phillips a minute there. Here comes the 1-1 pitch to Reimers. And that pitch is inside for ball 2. And you can sense Reimers was not happy that he took that pitch. Sometimes one of the most frustrating parts of playing the game of baseball is thinking about what you did not do. Here comes the 2-1 pitch now from Malecki to Reimers with the runner taking off. That's Compton, and there's a foul ball out of play. Easton Reimers, he has power. He's built as a prodigious slugger, and he swings hard through the zone. I don't think I've seen anyone, though, throw any harder than who I saw earlier today in the person of Tanner Apgar, the first baseman for Pinnacle bank from Papillion, La Vista, Nebraska. There's this pitch, and that's over the corner, painting the black for strike 3, and there it is, folks. Austin Malecki with double-digit strikeouts as he gets 10 Ks for the Missoula Mavericks. Wow. Now here comes Coulter Nicolaarson, batting with a runner at first base with 2 outs here in the top of the 6th inning. And Nicolaarson hits the ball high.
Man.
It's playable, and it will be caught for the 3rd out of the inning in center field by Nate Hutchison. And what a performance through 6 innings by Premier West ace Austin Malecki, as Malecki works around a base hit into left field by Chris Compton. And in the top of the 6th inning, the score is held 1-0. There were no runs. There was 1 hit. There were no errors, and there was 1 man left on first base. We've played 5.5 here in Rapid City, and Skylar Fairchild is back on the mound. What a duel. What a battle. Fairchild for Missoula. Malecki for Premier West Colorado. This is the Firecracker Classic on opening night on Hard Hats TV.
Man, something else to note here in this pitcher's duel, both teams doing a fantastic job of keeping the other one low scoring. We do have a tiebreaker after your wins and losses, and then head-to-head. The next tiebreaker, which is often important, is runs allowed per innings pitched, which means you guys have a big leg up on everyone else by allowing just keeping it this low scoring.
Boy, is that big, and that is also some form of silver lining or consolation for whichever ball club does not emerge victorious in this game.
Strike.
There's plenty of games to go the next several days. There's a pitch from Fairchild that catches the edge, and that's going to be strike 1. Nolan Engel leads things off for Premier West. Brock Lopez will bat second in the inning. Then leadoff hitter Dalton Berg will face Fairchild for a 3rd time tonight. We're in the bottom of the 6th inning. Missoula leading 1-0. Sam Matosic providing the only RBI in this ball game with a double over the center fielder back in the 3rd inning. That's the difference. In a pitcher's duel for the ages, Austin Malecki, the ace for Premier West, with 10 strikeouts already against Missoula. And the Mavericks, they hold the lead 1-0, and they are just 6 outs away from winning a game that they may remember for quite a while. Maybe forever.
Aww.
Count is now 1-2. Fitzgerald's pitch to Engel is over for strike 3. And now that's the 5th strikeout for Skylar Fairchild, as the leadoff man is retired in the person of Nolan Engel. And I want to point something out. We are now seeing the edge of that pavilion shadow, as I call it, crossing in front of home plate. So in a matter of minutes, as you set your sundial, so to speak, you're going to see the ball go from light into darkness as the ball goes into the strike zone, making it even harder for these hitters who have yet to solve their opposing aces on the mound for both teams tonight. There's a cut back to the screen. The count quickly goes to 0-2 to Brock Lopez. Brock Lopez waits now for the pitch from Skylar Fairchild. He swings and misses. That's another back-to-back strikeout sequence. And Skylar Fairchild, he didn't have a lot of Ks through the first 4 innings of work, in which he only gave up 1 infield single, but he has really thrown down the gauntlet with a pair of strikeouts in successive fashion, going through the bottom of the order for Premier West the 2nd time tonight. Here in the 5th and 6th inning, as Dalton Berg fouls the ball outside the ballpark.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, I am seeing somebody warm up in the bullpen for Missoula. It looks like they're making a in case contingency plan here, in case things get a little hairy with their starter.
And it's a 1-0 game, and sometimes you don't mess around. You don't think about aesthetics, and you just plain go to your closer in that final inning for the last 3 outs. There's a base hit, and that will be
Could be
handled
two.
by the center fielder, and that'll be a long single for Dalton Berg. And so Dalton Berg with the first hit outside the infield tonight for Premier West, only the second hit of the game off of Skylar Fairchild for Missoula.
Ooh.
And Dalton Berg gets the ball into the outfield, making an outfielder for Missoula scramble for a grounder for the first time this evening. There's a pitch and a high swing and a miss by Tony DiRienzo. DiRienzo tonight had that infield single back in the fourth to break up a perfect game bid for Fairchild. He's now trying to advance the runner. Here comes the runner. He steals second base.
I like the tag.
And Dalton Berg able to get a great jump off of Skylar Fairchild, who is unaccustomed to dealing with base traffic over his shoulder this evening. Count now 1-1 to Tony DiRienzo. The tying run is in scoring position for Premier West. There's a pitch outside for a ball, and the count goes to 2-1. Mike Fell, Oliver Fell with you on opening night from the Firecracker Classic, the 49th edition of this venerable tournament. Here comes the pitch. Ball is swatted to the second baseman. He has it. Throw to first in time to Reimers, and that keeps Missoula on top through 6 innings of action. In the bottom of the 6th inning, a man is stranded and scoring position. There were no runs. There was 1 hit. There were no errors, and there was 1 man left on second base. We have played 6 innings of play here in Rapid City. Missoula 1, Premier West Colorado 0. This is Hard Hats TV.
Wow. I mean, wow, what a game this has been. It looks like just the single mistake of allowing that extra base hit from Matosic. They always say don't give him an inch, and quite literally by a matter of inches on the barrel of his bat, that ball changed the entire course of this game and could very well be the sole decider. The player warming up is the player that was used in the NLB upset last year. This is Finn Davis. He plays first. He is the reliever. He came in last year out of the pen for, I believe it was Compton, who was on the mound against the next level baseball team in the upset of the tournament last year in extras.
Boy, you have an amazing memory and recollection. Of course, it's good that you keep the records too.
Yeah.
But that was really the signature upset. The next level baseball team, they came in with a top 20 National American Legion baseball rating.
It was club.
A club rating, and that was really something special to see the Missoula Mavericks get that high-scoring upset victory. We're now back to action. We bring you the 7th inning. It may be the last inning. We'll see. It's a 1-0 lead for Missoula. On the mound with 10 strikeouts on the night is Austin Malecki.
No.
And here comes the bottom of the order, Colin Boyce. And the count goes to 1-1. And Oliver, you look as though you are somewhat disheveled. What happened?
I just got news that Ross Frank is pitching the Rocky Mountain game against us. Ross Frank, first team All-State selection for Colorado, and the pitcher in our tournament team.
Ball is struck deep to right, and that's going to go to the wall. That's going to be extra bases for Colin Boyce, and there's a stand-up double to lead things off for the Missoula Mavericks. And man, oh man, Does Missoula have a golden opportunity as we're, I believe, going to see a pinch runner? No, we're just going to see Boyce take his wrist guard and hand it to his third base coach. And man alive, that is just the start that Missoula was looking for. And now we're going to have our first conference on the mound. Austin Malecki, he's racked up 10 strikeouts in this ball game. And I don't know if we're having a conference, a pitching change, or all of the above.
There's like a conference. The ball's still in his hand.
And that does seem to indicate that Malecki will stay on the rubber, trailing 1-0 to the Missoula Mavericks.
Ooh, the wind's starting to pick up.
What a game this has been. And now pitchers enjoy the advantage of that shadow I was referring to earlier, creating that interesting visual barrier between the ball going from the pitcher's mound to home plate.
Well, the thing is about that, by the time that it gets into the shade right there, you've already made your decision.
Well, that is a good point.
It would make it harder for the umpire.
That's a good point.
But not on the batter, really.
Here comes the pitch to Ryland Davis, and there's a bouncer.
Catcher, too. Hard for them.
Ryland Davis, don't know if he's related to Finn Davis. He might be.
Might be. That's a reasonable guess. Davis also like a top 10 most common name in America.
It's a very common name. When I think Davis in baseball, I think of Chili Davis.
Really? I think of Chris Davis, both of them.
Okay. I think of Chili Davis, the San Francisco Giant ball player. It's a great name, Chili Davis. I'm sure that was
his real name's like Frank.
Yeah, I'm sure that Chili was not his baptismal name.
Is that what we're calling it?
So we'll go with. Here comes the
birth certificate.
Here comes the 1-0 pitch. No, we'll see the runner go back to second.
He was Jamaican.
Oh, there we go.
I did not know that.
Chili Davis from Jamaica.
His name is Charles Theodore Davis.
Let's raise our prayers of protection for the Jamaican people as there's a Category 5 hurricane bearing down on them today.
Oh!
Here comes
there's nobody covering!
Outside, and there, without anyone covering, is a stolen base by Colin Boyce.
He noticed.
That was a wide open bag, and that time it appeared that third baseman Mateo Rousey was looking for the bunt, and he just went so far in front of the base that
he couldn't even see him.
Yeah, it was wide open to be stolen by Colin Boyce. So now with nobody on, a huge insurance run just 90 feet from home plate in the person of Colin Boyce. We hope you're all having a good time watching our broadcast. It's a 1-0 pitcher's duel. We're in the 7th inning. Here comes the pitch from Malecki, and that's ball 4. And suddenly, we are seeing some uncharacteristic things we haven't seen through 6 innings tonight. And that is the fact that we've seen Austin Malecki give up a long extra base hit, and we have seen a walk. And Malecki is just trying to keep this thing together for Premier West to come up to bat in the bottom of the 7th inning. Bryce Ostrom now, the number 9 hitter, at bat with runners in the corners, and he gets a base hit down the line that goes in the corner. 1 run scores, and that will maybe score 2. Chugging home is Ryland Davis, and that's a 2-run double down the left field line by Bryce Ostrom, and that breaks this game wide open. It's 3-0 in favor of the Missoula Montana Mavericks. What a big play in this ball game that was, as for the first time tonight, this 1-0 pitcher's duel is broken up decisively in favor of Missoula, and we will have a pitching change. And listen to this ovation for Austin Malecki, who strikes out 10, count them 10 with both hands. Missoula Mavericks this evening over 6 innings of work for Premier West. Ryland Davis and Colin Boyce scored a moment ago on that 2-run double. And now A.J. Mata will come out to relieve Austin Malecki, who goes 6 innings.
It should be Mata, like
A.J.
Thad
Mata. Yep, A.J.
Yeah,
Mata.
like Thad.
Yep,
Shout out
A.J.
to
Mata.
Thad.
And we think of Thad Mata, the legendary NBA coach, formerly of the Chicago Bulls.
He's on the.
He's
Washington
Butler.
Bullets. He's Butler's coach now.
Oh, I was thinking of a different Mata. Who was I thinking of?
Maybe his dad or something.
I don't know. I think I'm thinking of maybe someone whose last name isn't Mata that was in the NBA forever and coached a lot of teams. But yeah, you're right. Thad Mata. I saw Thad Mata's Butler Bulldogs beat our Creighton Blue Jays actually back in January in a 99 to 98 game. What game that was? That was back in mid-January. A.J. Mata firing his warm-up tosses. At third base, it's Bryce Ostrom. Bryce was able to get a double, or did he get a triple? Did he advance?
No, it was a double.
It was a double. Okay,
He's just talking to his coach.
Oh, okay. He's just having a
He'll go back.
Baseball conversation.
He agreed to do so.
You bet he is. Great night of baseball. Happy you're with us. And thank you, Steve Ammerman. I was thinking of Dick Mata. Steve just helped me out. I'll tell you, that's a friend for you. Thank you, Steve Ammerman. Go Royals. Man, that was very helpful. I'm not living on my own island. So, yes, Dick Mata was the NBA coach. Thad Mata, who spells his name differently
timing on that one.
Dick Mata is the college basketball coach.
Right as we're talking about it.
So, some people sing songs like, you say potato, I say patata. In my case, I say Mata.
You mean Mata.
And Mata.
Yeah, that's you're just correct.
There we go.
I was just thinking, you're just thinking of the wrong Mata.
Here comes a pitch. That's a grounder to first, running to the bag and holding the runner, or letting the runner go to third is Premier West first baseman Tony DiRienzo. So that's the first out of the inning. Carter Taylor retired on a smash towards the first base bag, and here comes Patrick Davis. Davis scored in the third. He's 0 for 2 this evening with a pair of walks. And the post 22 hard hats are in the house as the fans are filing in here at Fitzgerald Stadium.
How does one simply make the jump from Weber State to Chicago Bulls?
Well, why don't you ask Damian Lillard?
Yeah, he got drafted. I'm
just saying, you can do it. Damian Lillard is proof you can go from Weber State to the NBA and shine, as is Dick Mata.
And
here comes a pitch.
Dylan Jones.
Outside for ball 2.
Big Sky Player of the Year, Dylan Jones, got selected in the first round of the NBA draft this year. I believe he's a Pacer, something like that.
Okay. A lot of money in that NBA. Here comes a 2-1 pitch, and the ball is fouled away.
So you're saying that because of the Jason Tatum contract?
I am. Anytime a guy can get a $300 million contract.
314 specifically, which is the St. Louis area code.
Ooh, that's one of 3 St. Louis area codes.
Yeah.
It's probably his.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Did you know that? Or just...
No, I saw somebody else post about it.
Wow. All right. Patrick Davis. Boy, I tell you, I'd like someone to give me $1 million for the 402, my home area. All right, count is now.
You can get $400. You can get $4.02.
Strikes out, by the way.
Maybe $40.
That's 2 Ks. Here comes Sam Matosic. Matosic hits it deep. This might leave the ballpark, and it does. That's a 2-run smash, a bomb, and touch 'em all. Sam Matosic for the Missoula Mavericks, who get an ovation from our broadcaster from Missoula in the booth next to us. Sam Matosic brings down the house with a no-doubter over the Farmers Union insurance sign in the deep part of the ballpark down the left field line. Wow, that was an absolute tape measurement shot, and that's the second and third RBI for Sam Matosic, who already serves notice as to who one of the best ball players here is over the next 5 days. Bryce Osborne is brought home from second on that no-doubter by Matosic, and mercy, that was a thing of beauty. If you could see it, if you couldn't, put it down like
You could.
what you could see.
You could see pretty much all of it.
The astronomy, and there's a pop-up called for by the catcher, who drops the ball inexplicably, but gets a pat on his back.
Poor guy.
And you mentioned a few minutes ago, Oliver, the fact that the losing team in this game could maybe benefit from keeping the runs allowed number down, but Missoula has struck for 4 runs in the top half of the 7th
It's no longer
inning,
a pretty scoreline.
and now it's a 5-0 lead. And man alive, did Matosic
Kill that thing.
absolutely kill that baseball. And that was
The worst.
prodigious, to say the least.
The thing is, that was a launch angle, like, efficiency. That was not a very good hit. That ball went way up.
And now Chris Compton gets a hold of a ball. Is that out of here? And no, it isn't. It's off the top of the Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center sign, about 3 feet below the home run line, but hit a lot closer to center than Matosic's moonshot. And that's going to be the third, check that, the 4th extra base hit for the Missoula Mavericks, as A.J. Mata absolutely getting teed off.
Yeah, they're just hitting Mata real hard.
And Easton Reimers, who is known for his long-distance blasts, he now steps into the batter's box, and I'm sure he's thinking,
sit red.
I'm going to hit this ball as far as I possibly can. Here comes the 0-1 pitch to Reimers. That's low for ball 1.
Measured exit velocity at 94 miles an hour for Easton Reimers.
Here comes the 1-1 pitch to Reimers with Compton at second base in a 5-0 ball game in favor of Missoula from western Montana. There's a swing and a miss, and the count now goes to 1-2. 2 outs, a man at second. Missoula has ripped open what was an epic 1-0 pitcher's duel and turned it into a 5-0 lead. Ooh. And there's a pitch over for strike 3 for A.J. Mata. So Mata does get a pair of strikeouts, but the Missoula Mavericks record 4 extra base hits, including a Sam Matosic 2-run moonshot over the Farmers Union insurance sign in left field to lift Missoula to a 5-0 lead. There were 4 runs scored in the top half of the 7th inning on a grand total of 4 hits, all of the extra base hit variety. There were no errors, and there was 1 man left on second base through 6 1/2 here in Rapid City. At the 49th annual Firecracker Classic, it's the Missoula Mavericks 5 and the Premier West team from Colorado, Wyoming, and New Mexico 0. We go to the bottom of the 7th inning in this 7-inning ball game. This is Hard Hats Television.
Yeah, this is something special. They were showing off the power. That's the offense that we had seen Missoula pull out. They do end up finishing Fairchild's day before he gets the complete game. They're not messing around. Finn Davis is ready and he's coming in. He's going to finish this thing out. Want to make sure that he doesn't get above 25 pitches, though. If they keep him under 25, he can pitch tomorrow, I think. Or maybe not tomorrow, but definitely by Friday. He could pitch as a reliever whenever they want. Anything over 25, and that's an additional day.
Thanks, Oliver. Kendrick Aragon, Nate Hutchison, and Kenji Bray due up. It's going to be a tall task here with Finn Davis, the lights-out closer, coming out of the bullpen for Missoula in a 5-0 game. This, of course, is not a safe situation, but getting out to a 1-0 start in this tournament, it's worth bringing your closer in. That's for certain. Ball is popped up high into the sky, and it's going to be juggled and caught.
I thought that was surely falling.
Left fielder for Missoula. That's Chris Compton, who didn't expect to have the ball become pushed in his direction.
Yeah, that was weird.
The wind is coming from the north, and it just pushed that high pop-up on the edge of the infield track towards Compton, who made the juggling catch, and Kendrick Aragon goes 0 for 3 in tonight's game as he is retired. And there's a base hit by Nate Hutchison.
That's more to the wall.
Hutchison hits the ball all the way to the wall, and that will be a triple, a sliding triple for Nate Hutchison. And that draws a nice round of applause from all of the Premier West fans who made the trip north to Rapid City for the Firecracker Classic. Now Kenji Bray comes up to bat. By the way, that is only the first extra base hit allowed between Finn Davis and starting pitcher Skylar Fairchild for the Missoula Mavericks this evening. Count is now 1-0 to Kenji Bray. Bray ticketed to play next year in Golden, Colorado, the home of the Adolph Coors Brewing Company. And there's a throw to third over the head of the third baseman, and that will be the first run of the game given up on an errant toss to third base by relief pitcher Finn Davis, as Nate Hutchison easily trots down the line to home plate to score the first run of the game for Premier West. It's now 5-1. So the bases are clear with one out, and Kenji Bray watches a pitch go over the plate for strike one. Here comes the 1-1 pitch to Kenji Bray. And Bray sees the ball hit the edge of the black for strike two. And you can tell that Finn Davis is an emotional closer. He has the temperament, if not the facial hair, for the job. And there's a swing and a miss, strike three. And that now pushes Missoula to the brink of a big win, leading 5-1 here in the bottom of the seventh inning. And Finn Davis is one out away from lifting the Missoula Mavericks fans into a great state of euphoria. Max Trujillo now up to bat. The last hope for Premier West. Here comes a pitch, and that pitch is low for a ball. Max Trujillo waits for the pitch to come from Finn Davis. And that pitch is just off the plate for a ball. Stay tuned after this ball game. Oliver Fell, the voice of Hard Hats TV, brings you the 41-10 defending Firecracker Classic champion Post 22 Hard Hats home game against the Rocky Mountain Lobos. There's a fly ball, and that'll do it. That will be a can of corn in left field. And congratulations to the Missoula Mavericks. They are 1-0 here in the Firecracker Classic. Premier West unable to pull out a victory despite a 10 strikeout masterpiece from their starting ace, Austin Malecki, through 6 innings of work. And our final score is Missoula 5 and Premier West 1. In the bottom of the 7th inning for Premier West, they scored 1 run on 1 hit. There was 1 error, and there were no men left on base. What a game. What a pitcher's duel through 6 innings, and what a tremendous performance by Sam Matosic, the number 3 hitter for Missoula, Montana's Mavericks. We wrap this game up, Game 5 of the opening day of the Firecracker Classics, 49th edition. This is Mike Fell saying thank you for listening. And Oliver Fell, thank you for your contributions and commentary. Oliver will take you home with the nightcap broadcast. Our final score in Game 5 of the pool play action here at the Fitzgerald Stadium Firecracker Tournament. It is Missoula winning 5-1 in 7 innings. And we'll now take it back to our next feed of our broadcast here on the Hard Hats TV broadcast. And I'll just say good night from Rapid City, South Dakota.
There we go. That was good.
Thank you. That was fun.
Yeah.
I love